Hello. I'm here. And we're finishing this off. And hopefully that one there as well. I've cut this out. Ready for the hang on. Which side is this? That's the left. Ready for the right side is this one. Oh. Hey, Mr. Wizard. Aptly named Mr. Wizard. I'm glad you changed your name. It was like Paul before, wasn't it? It was just Paul. What? I'm YouTube Paul. Yeah. What do we need to do? Right, we've got the last two bits to come out. These guys right here. So I'm gonna have to just grab those two little shapes off those two pieces of paper, and we're gonna get that whacked on. Largely looks like the same job as the other, and of course try not to forget that little tiny piece that's gonna attach in the middle, hopefully to those two pieces. Last time I did this, they didn't reach, so there was just this little hanging off thing on the bottom there, and I was just like, do you know what? Forget it. I don't think it matters. So I got rid. Just literally didn't bother. There we go. Hang on. There we are. Right. So it's still pointing at me, but it's not obscuring my noggin as much. So, what do? We get the paper. How's it going, Mr. Wizard? What you conjuring at the moment? What you doing? So I bet it's like a double-edged sword watching me, because like you watch me while you're doing stuff as well, and then I ask you a question, you have to stop what you're doing to type to type the answer. Just get this all. Oh no! I think the lights have been knocked in here because I'm having trouble seeing the lines again. There we are. Sorry, I'm having to concentrate because there's like a couple of angles there that I was having trouble seeing. That's not happened since I was in the flat. So I'm sanding. Of course you are. Your favourite pastime. Do you like 3D printing? Well, you better like sanding. Now, your ability to just sit there and sand for hours on end is the reason why your gear looks so good. Because you could mess about with the hell just happened there? You could mess about with like all the filament settings to reduce your sanding time and all the rest of it, but then you have to recalibrate the whole thing, don't you? The whole printer and everything, which is a nightmare in itself. I do remember. So yeah, I can understand why it is better to sand than it is to... Oh my god. This is difficult this time. It's like I'm saying, what's happening? Like, is this... Right. Was it like that before? Oh, it was. There we go. Me white light got spun around. That's what was happening. Yeah. So yeah. Long story short, better to sand loads than have to recalibrate your printer once you've got it right. Because nightmare. Yep, it is like that. Yeah, like people think you pick up a 3D printer and like you just instantly have access to every possible thing you could possibly want. They don't realise that these things aren't manufactured like other goods and services. They're not. They're not put. You have to put it together yourself. It's like a proper like fiddler's job, innit? And you have to. It's largely all done yourself, and you have to calibrate it yourself, and you have to, it's difficult, mate. I do not. 3D printing in itself is a pain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't envy it. I do not envy you at all. You have a very difficult job, my friend, but on the upside, it's becoming something bigger now, isn't it, Mr. Film Industry, Mr. Industry Insider? It's cracking. All I can say is very well done in general. Right. I'm gonna do both these things for both sides, I think. I don't know if you can hear that, but my little boy's iPad's playing in the background. He's turned it right up again. Loves his numbers. It's probably been playing the entire time that I've been going live, but I always sort of forget about it because he's always counting and always listening to his songs. I just like don't notice it anymore. But he is. He's obsessed with numbers. He likes the alphabet as well, but it's numbers. That's the way. If you go up to him and just count, he'll be your best friend. Hard work pays off, and a little talent. No, like I agree. You're. I think, but the two are the same thing. Talent, like some people are genuinely like it's a cliche at this point, but some people are genuinely born with it, like an ability to see in 3D and be able to make 3D models from scratch without source material. Like I could never do that with this lot, for example. I need templates. I'm not that good. But quote unquote talent, in most cases, in my opinion, my humble opinion, comes from hard work, doesn't it? You're always crap when you start. That's my thing. Is you're always crap when you start, and then you put in an average 10,000 hours. I think it is, isn't it? They say you'll be an expert at anything within 10,000 hours. Well, not within, after 10,000 hours. of whatever that might be. Which I agree with, I reckon, to an extent, but I don't know how many hours I've spent doing this. It doesn't feel like 10,000. Right. Here we go. I think to start with, because this is bent so much, it needs to... No, it does. It needs the old angle cut. Nice straight line on the top there. Gonna do a little angular on that. Oh, look at that little sneaky bastard. Right there. Look at that. Right in there. That's one for your missus, Mr. Wizard. That's one for Mrs. Wizard. Always spot those gosh darn little buggers. Because that's gonna play with my head. Right. Okay. And what do? We did... Yep, straight cuts, straight along the bottom. And we need an angle out of there, because that's what's meeting these little oblong things that I've made. We went straight along the top as well. And then we absolutely are normal straight cuts along the top, along the inside rather. I've been making costumes for 15 years, and a lot as a kid. I wouldn't say I'm a pro at it. I'm always learning. You know, pros learn. That's the other thing that they don't tell you, is that, you know, a lot of pros like to pretend that they've learned everything that can possibly be taught to them, and they'll refuse to learn anything else. But the good ones are the ones that tell you that it's a constant process. That's something I definitely subscribe to as an ideal, is that no matter how good you are, you can always learn something new, and how long you've been doing something. Like, we could teach each other, for example, like a lot of stuff, couldn't we? You know, because both of us work in the same field with completely different materials, and there's a lot I could teach you about, like putting foam stuff together, and a lot you could teach me about 3D printing in general, you know. Even though I'm sort of vaguely familiar with it, and I'm sure you're vaguely familiar with foam building as well, you know. Right. We need a nice angle cut for both of these on the inside, because they're the bits that join up with that. So I'm doing them together so they match, basically. There we go. Oh dear. Right, so that's that side done. I'll get these cut out for the other side and chuck them over there with the other build. With the right hand side. I hope I don't get copyright stricken for this. Because you can probably hear the boys' video in the background. Sorry, I'm not actually picking my nose, that was an itch. I have nothing to show for it, for example. I need to hurry up and finish getting this loft converted so I'm not, like, covered in dust all the time. Oh. Only ever used foam once during lockdown, I'm sure means lockdown, to see if I could do it. You probably could, but I found this is something as well. Like, if you're already sort of decently proficient in one way of doing any kind of discipline, when you try and pick up another way of doing the same thing, because you're starting again, it's doubly frustrating, like more frustrating than starting again, I think. 'Cause I'm left-handed, and I decided in my ultimate wisdom, after already playing guitar right-handed when I was like 16, I wanted to learn left-handed because I am left-handed, and I thought, like, ultimately in the long term I'll probably be a better player. And I wasn't, like, wrong or anything, but it was so frustrating starting again after already having picked it up and got, you know, as good as you can get when, you know, after playing for 6 months or so. It was so frustrating, I ended up giving up on it and going back to right-handed, and to this day I play right-handed even though I'm left-handed. So I imagine it would be something like that. It's like when I tried to pick up 3D printing, for example, it was exactly that. I was like, oh my god! But I was fairly new at form as well, so I didn't do, I wasn't that bothered. You sent me a pic of your form armor. Oh, hang on. I'll just get these two little bits and pieces cut out. Right, you can go there so I don't get you mixed up. Go. But yeah, I picked up once I actually managed to get the damn thing working properly, and I stopped getting spaghettied uh, results. It was okay, and I started to do well with it. But I tell you, right up until that point of getting the builds to start working properly, it was a frustrating mess of a to do. So now I couldn't do that. That's really bloody good, mate. And like, amazing. That's amazing work, especially like paint work as well. That like caps it off. No matter how like dodgy, only you'll see the imperfections of it, and like no matter how dodgy the the gluing bits, and there might be a gap here or there or whatever. You've absolutely nailed it with the paint job at the end of it, haven't you? Made freehand, yeah. Well, you bloody medals in the post, mate. There's definitely no jealousy. Right, I think I can get away with doing that without actually cutting into it and pushing any more, because it's thin enough on the end there that it'll go into that little notch there, so it should work. Much. You're just a show off, aren't you? Right. Come together right now, etc. Yeah, there we go. A little, yeah. You have to be, otherwise, like, you're not much of a cosplayer, are you, if you don't want to show off a little bit. And I mean, why would I be live streaming what I'm doing if I didn't want to show it off a little bit? But there we are so far. As you can see, we've got that little notch there, but once it solidifies and I pop it in like that, it's just gonna fit, because that's been cut at an angle, so the edges are quite soft. So it's gonna be all right. Not gonna have to do any cutting or messing about making that tiny little notch that I found on the, this guy. Oop. This guy right here that, whoa, has disappeared. There's something in the middle. I never noticed that. Oh, of course. There's a tiny little, like, notch that's supposed to stick out the top of the bicep, but there's no point in doing it because I'm going to be attaching, get off. What do you call it? Grenadier shoulders to the top of it. That's what's next. Is shoulders. And we're going to do that by basically by sight and winging it. I've got the templates, but like sizing it up wise, I'm going to just wing it, and whatever looks good on these biceps is what we're going to go with. I did take measurements and all the rest of it, but it's sort of weird with shoulders, as you can probably imagine. It's just like, so how do you calculate the circumference of the ball of your shoulder? Like, I'm sure there's a way, and all, like, people that are actually good at maths won't be watching this because they'll have good, high-paying jobs to go to. Will know the answer to that, but they are not here. Oh, steady. Calipers. What do you mean calipers? I always forget what I've said when I'm saying it, so when you comment something like that to what I've been saying, I'm like, what? I have no idea, like, what I've said on any of these live things. Like, whenever I've been doing it on whatever platform, I've been like, sorry? I'll send a pic. Oh, calipers. I'm with you now. Okay. Yeah, do. Please do. Right. I forgot that I'm going to have to slice a bit out of here. And be careful with knife. There we go. Right, I'm going to do what I did with... Oh my god. That is much more of an angle than we need. That's like non-existent, look. Oh my god. Right, I'm just going to glue the edge and then do what I've done before and make like a nice fat channel of stuff under there. Oh no. I forgot that I added the extra piece. This little extra piece on both sides, and I forgot to add it on this one, so I've gone and done both without it now. What a bloody cliff. Let's have a look. What are you sending me, you? Calipers. No. No, 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 no. That's far too accurate and professional. Do you think this is Pinewood Studios? You're welcome. Nah, so far it's everything I've done so far has worked really well, and the fitting side of things I've managed, touch wood, which I will in a sec, to just about nail size wise. In fact, the sizing of these things has been the least of my issues. Like actually being able to afford to send them these days has been the hardest part because of he who shall remain nameless, as most of you are anyway. Maybe your LVL, a bit of card with numbers on it. Yeah. I'm really confused now, dude. I'm with you though. Yeah. I'm saying yeah. Yeah, you're right. Or something. Right. Okay, so that's on. Like Ariston, which is a really cryptic nod to RoboCop. Been playing Rogue City the last few days since it's come out. Got it on the day of release on the Xbox. You've probably seen me playing it, Mr. Wizard, if you've been on and seen me. But it's like, it's class. It is really good. There's only a couple of things that annoy me about it, so that's really good, isn't it? Because you know me, always complaining. Mostly about 343, but yeah. I have recently finally re-downloaded Infinite, but I've still not played it properly. I've downloaded it and had a look at stuff and thought, oh, actually, no, the pass looks good this time. Finally seem like they're pulling the fingers out and doing something good. And they've put new maps on and things like that, and it's looking good. Like, honestly, hats off. Credit where credit's due and all that. It's looking good. But it still doesn't sit right with me that they were more happy to fire everyone in the campaign department and move on and try and do like a narrative multiplayer thing as if it's Destiny or something than they were to just simply do the work, to maybe finish off the story they started going with. Because if they do another game, it's going to be a soft reboot again, like they did with 4 to 5. Because 4 was their soft reboot, let's try and make it like COD. 5 was their soft reboot, let's not make it like COD, but let's introduce different people. Oh, I had no idea that everyone thought Master Chief was the main protagonist. And then Infinite was like, all right, I'm sorry, let's make a more Halo-y game. And then they didn't finish it, like story-wise. I've given up on it all. Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you, dude, and I'm sat here making Halo armor. It's, yeah. As you can probably tell by the tone of my voice, it makes me very sad. And I feel like it's almost like losing a grandfather or an uncle or something, and you just lose your, you know. But what are you mourning? A bloody video game? It's weird. So I just get sad talking about it now. And yes, it's Reach. It's Reach armor. Um, he's gone for the CQB helmet, which I made before. I've made him a chest, and they're actually sat behind me in a pile of other things that are in the loft that will be soon in cupboards once I do out all of this, which I'm not going to show because it's a mess. Right, let's see. Oh, there we go. Right, that is excellent. And I am going to glue that in almost immediately, I think. I should start at the bottom. No, I'm going to glue in the top. Just get it in there. I'm going to put a nice big thick amount on the top because that's going to connect to another flat piece. But then all the rest of it is going to be edges only. So we've got to try and get like one thick line to grab hold of the only surface area that it's going to have. So we'll go up to here. Like I say, that's flat on flat at the top there. So I can hold onto that with my finger and then brush the other bit on. Just so the globs end up at the back of it, not the front. Oh, all but one. There's a tiny bead just there. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. Look at that one bead. What a bastard. Oh dear. The rest of it's gone together really well. I was thinking I was going to have to like cut bits and bend and shape, but it's just gone together. Lovely. There it is. Just going to push it into shape a little bit more than it already is, just to make sure it stays where it should. I'm sure it'll be fine once it's actually being worn. Now for the rest of it, again, it's going to be like, the only thing we're battling is a lack of surface area to connect. So we just need to get those, like the edge, done. It's worth it as Reach is one of the best. Yeah, it was. Like that was the height of it for me. I'd obviously played it from the beginning, but then when ODST came out, I was like in the throes, and it felt like it still had momentum and it was building. And what it ultimately built to, obviously, was Reach. But internet wasn't as prominent back then, and people weren't doing like video essays and stuff. And I'm like, I need a word with myself, and I was terrible at the time, and still aren't like the best at reading articles and stuff, especially like online and what have you. And I hadn't even realised that Bungie had already left Microsoft by the time they did it, ODST, let alone Reach. They were just simply fulfilling contractual obligations to make 2 more Halo games for the platform before they left, and like full-time dedicated themselves to the next thing, which turned out to be Destiny, which they were already working on in the middle of Halo 3's production. They'd splintered off a couple of dudes to do some proofs of concept type of thing. Found out all of this like this year. So they wanted to do like a send-off, and Reach was a beautiful send-off. They felt like they'd done as much as they wanted to do with Master Chief, and they knew Microsoft was keeping the IP, so they were going to do more, so they left it open a bit and then did Reach, which perfect customization, perfect like gameplay, perfect everything. It was absolutely like, it was just bang on, wasn't it? And yeah, the like everything from bottom to top, like it was just executed amazingly, in my humble opinion. And yeah, I wanted the next one to be that. I really just wanted another reach, basically. And it's weird because they essentially nicked a load of mechanics from Reach that didn't make sense. Like the Warthog turrets overheating made sense for Reach because it was in the past. But why in the Ultimate Future, where we've got this giant bloody spacecraft and all that, like, why would we be having overheating turrets? Like, we can master space travel now with bigger ships than, like, that rival, like, the Covenant ships, but we can't get a turret to work on the Warthog. You just nicked and left in that mechanic from Reach, didn't you? Yeah. They're the ones that like to try and explain everything with lore. Like, why is his armor different? Oh, well, Cortana did it with nanobots while he was asleep. Right, so why are there multiple Spartans at the beginning of Halo 4 that look exactly like New Chief? Oh, well, yeah. Still haven't had an answer for that one. Why am I such a stickler for details? Right, that whole time, I'm actually just looking for the other one of these. Ha! That's him. And what I'm going to do is use this to make a little extra bit. To go on it. Right on it. There we go. Right, all I've done, for those that are actually wondering what I've done, is I've just took the end that I made for the opposite side and made it again. So it probably doesn't look like much, but it's going to go right there, right on there, just like that. Just to piss you off, yeah. 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 They knew what they were doing, boys. They came in, swooped in just to piss me off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Here we go. Okay, I'm just holding this at an angle that's going to suit where it wants to be and the opposite side as well. And then, and only then, we will attach this wonderful piece onto the other side, whilst being very careful not to wake up the mother leopard. I didn't think that would be quite as audible when I did, I did the breathing there. That was creepy as. Oopie doos. Don't, like, I've told you not to mention 343 in the chat. You will be banned, Mr. Wizard. Not that I know how to do that on this platform. I could never ban you. Well, I could. It's, you know. But I wouldn't. Not for that, anyway. Are you wanting me to go off on another 343 rant? Like, because I can't. I can rant about 343 all day. You know, just say the word. I think you already did, didn't you? You put it in the chat. The word. The word of the day. There we go. Nearly there. Just going to get that to solidify on the edge there, and then I'll just pop it up, and then push that in, push that up, and we're done. We are liquid. Once again, though, it's turned out there's no bloody surface area to glue together on this part, so I'm going to have to do the thing that I always do, and so that's a yes then. You actually want me to go on a rant about them. Okay, fine. I stopped myself when I was going on about the bloody warthog thing. But alright. You asked for it. Ask and ye shall receive. It's become fairly common knowledge that when they first started making Halo 4, they were making like their own. They were trying to make their own vision of Halo, or at least that's what they say they were doing. When Frank O'Connor has come out and flat out admitted that they were just copying Halo with Halo 4, COD, Call of Duty with Halo 4. And he said it so matter of fact, like it was like, yeah, Halo 4, we were basically trying to be more like COD. But that's what they designed. They told us outright that that's not what they were doing at the time. When they were developing that game, they told us that's not what they were doing, and they weren't trying to be another game. They are Halo and all the rest of it. So that's one big lie that turned out to be a lie, you know. It was, I think, when they jumped to Halo 5, that's when things got really weird. I mean, for one thing, they fired the dude that wrote the story. Or no, he didn't. They didn't fire him. They sort of promoted him for Halo 4. The dude that wrote that story, I think he might even still work. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? COD does fucking suck. Come at me, bro. But like, yeah, the dude that wrote the story for Halo 4, which was largely the only thing worth doing on Halo 4, was in fact that main campaign story. He didn't write all the dialogue, which that's another thing about their dialogue, is it's largely just sort of melodrama. And I don't know why they've thought that like a sci-fi military shooting game was actually science fiction melodrama. It never was that in all of the Bungie games. Like even Reach, that was hugely depressing when you really think about it. It was massively depressing because you lose. No matter what you do, you're gonna lose. You die at the end. Spoilers. But they still didn't have like, oh, there's a million stars out there. I don't know if I'm going to live or die. Am I rampant? Who am I? You know, it was like with the Bungie games, they were always right. This is happening. We need to do this about it. I need a weapon, and off they went. Type of thing. Even when it did get melodramatic, when stuff was dire and things did look, you know, like everybody was gonna die, they still didn't get into existential melodrama writing. Anyway, beside the point, that dude, they promoted him, moved him off the project, and the guy who wrote Spartan Ops was the dude that wrote Halo 5's story campaign in its entirety, apparently. Brian something or other. It was one of the hires that didn't like Halo, as far as I'm aware. But there we go. One reach bicep done and dusted. Let's see. It goes on. Quite good and comfortable, in fact. It grips at the bottom as well, so that's good. Yeah. What was today's generation wants? They're about drama. Yeah, but they're not about melodrama. That's why these games got critically panned. They all love like the oh no he didn't like drama type of thing where they shouldn't have said something, so they're cancelling everyone. They love that, but existentially staring at an artificial sun, pondering one's existence. That's not like nobody wants that. Like it's good for a part, but like the entirety of Halo 4 was like that. And in Halo 5, it's like they tried to do the opposite. Like they tried to do what Bungie did and go like, oh, this is happening, so we need to do that and let's get on with it type of thing. But they missed out the this is what's happening part. So they were like, right, we need to do this. And you're like, why? The entire way through Halo 5, that's all I was thinking was like, yeah, but why? And that never got answered. I was so confused right to the very end of that game. It was like you finished it, and then your achievement pops for finishing it, and you're going like, yeah, but I've just spent like 30 hours battling through that intensely annoying campaign, and I don't know why I did it. I don't know what happened. Is anything any different from the beginning to the end? I was just so like, to this day, I still like ponder what I was doing. As Chief as well, when you're in those few levels as Master Chief that they shot in as like a caveat, basically. Still didn't know why I was there and what I was doing. Half the dialogue was like over, intercoms while you're firing, and the firing sound level was so high. They could have just dampened it while you were listening to a thing, but then they didn't. So any important information got completely lost because you were just like, firing away. Right. We've got bicep number 2 to make. Sit you there. I'm quite proud of that. I need to remember to photograph that. Anyway, I'm just going to rant for a bit because I haven't really got time to get into the nitty gritty of this. I'm going to have to go do the school run in a bit, and also I need to eat, so I need to do both those things. My Ninja Turtles had a bit more done to it, look. So it's getting there. It's in the scabby phase at the moment. It's all a bit rough. Yeah, so did I. So did everyone. That was another problem with it, wasn't it? That they decided that he was going to be the main protagonist of Halo because they didn't realise that that's what Master Chief was. Oh, Halo's such a big and expansive world. We didn't realise that everybody considered him to be the main character. It's like, you've taken over a franchise that starred one dude for largely all of it. And even when it wasn't the main protagonist, he was referred to within those games somewhere. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. So like I don't understand the cognitive dissonance right there with like, oh, we didn't realize that that's what everybody considered to be the main character. Oh, didn't you? How sweet, how quaint. Well done there. It's like, how did they get through 6 years of development time for Halo 5 and not one person stood up and went, Master Chief's supposed to be in Halo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, it's exactly that, mate. Yeah, yeah. It's like, they go, right, well, we've got this side character, and you're gonna play half the game as him, and then we might throw in Doom Guy for like 2 levels. Oh, I didn't realize you thought Doom Guy was the Doom Guy. The Doom Slayer? Doesn't ring a bell. Yeah. It just like that level of cognitive dissonance is just foreign to me. Like, I just don't understand. I do not understand how they got to that, like, that point. You can't get to like however many years of development it was. You just can't, and no one said anything. I mean, are they that terrifying at 343 that no one dares say you're missing your main character of the franchise that you are franchising? Is everybody that scared of 343? I mean, what is the crack with that one, my love? Yeah, I'm just cutting out some bits while I'm thinking about it. I don't want to. I don't spend my days thinking about this, Mr. Wizard. It's your fault. uh, yeah, yeah, I do. I do. I'm lying. Because it's wrecked something that I'm really passionate about and really love, and that's hence me sitting here making armor that's directly out of the game for people that also love it like I do, and here we are. Without it, you and I would never have crossed paths, Mr. Wizard. Uh, yeah, yes, man, of course. But it's largely Microsoft's point problem as well. And for all everybody loves Phil Spencer and all that, he's massively responsible as well because he just fucking let them do it. They just operated with total impunity. They never even gave that to Bungie when they were making hit after hit after hit with the Halo franchise. They were still going in there and giving them like notes and saying, right, this needs to have whatever campaign and however much multiplayer because we've got this new platform, blah blah blah. We want a side app. We want other games. Like they weren't happy about letting another studio tackle the Halo Wars, for example, but Microsoft made them. Now, like 343 is basically just left to do whatever the fuck they want. They can just do it. It's whatever. Doesn't matter. It's fine. And that's bananas to me when, like, they'll bully an outside studio, but then they create their own studio and let them do it, and then they do reasonably well with Halo 4, completely fuck up with Halo 5, and still, with Infinite, be left completely to their own devices and do whatever they want. Because at the end of the day, Microsoft heard free-to-play multiplayer and storefront and went, excellent, and left it at that, didn't they? It was as simple as that. They were just like, cha-ching, marvellous. So yeah. Ow. Right. I am done for the day, I think, and I'm gonna try and get on tomorrow earlier in the morning. And then in the afternoon we've got stuff to do because we're going on holiday next week, so we've got loads to sort out. You know what it's like when you've got two young kids and you're planning on going somewhere. It takes you at least 2 weeks of planning, and we've got a week to execute it. So that's what we is doing tomorrow. So I'll do my best to get back on. I want to finish this as well. So yeah. Cheers for watching, Mr. Wizard, and chatting with me. Always makes it easy to do. Except for when you put in things like 343 just to wind me up and get me ranting, then I can't concentrate on what I'm doing here because it's all in here. So, cheers for that. Yeah, if I can get on, I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks again. Anyone that has watched today, whether you've come in and left or you've come in right at the end there and haven't chatted or anything, thank you for watching. I appreciate all and every view. And thank you to subscribers and people that will subscribe and all the rest of it. Thank you. Behave with the 343. You are fired. I'm going to have a word with Pinewood. Alright, I'll catch you tomorrow.